Welcome to the next video of Modern History series lessons. In this video, we are going to discuss about the major economic impacts of the British colonial rule in India. The first main changes was the disruption of traditional economy. Economic policy followed by the British led to the rapid transformation of India's economy into colonial economy. Self-sufficient rural economy has been completely disrupted. The next impact was ruin of artisan and craftsman. Sudden and quick collapse of urban artifacts industry. Collapse due to the competition of import of cheap British manufactured goods, especially in the field of cotton textiles and other village crafts in India. Also adversely affected in cotton weaving and spinning industry, iron, pottery, glass, paper, shipping, tanning and dyeing industries. High import duties and other restrictions imposed on Indian goods into Britain and Europe during the 19th and 18th century, combined with the development of modern manufacturing industries in Britain, resulted the virtual closing of European markets to Indian manufacturers. The gradual disappearance of Indian rulers and their courts, who were the main customers of Indian handicraft industries. British purchased all their military from government stores in Britain. Dhaka, Surat, Murshidabad, most populous and flourishing cities in India, were decentralized, depopulated, and deindustrialized. By the end of the 19th century, Indian urban population accounted for about 10% of the total population. British conquest led to the deindustrialization of the country and increased the dependence of agriculture. According to the census report of 1901 to 11 alone, percentage of population engaged in agriculture increased from about 60% to 70%. Hence, at that time, India became the agricultural colony of manufacturing British commodities. In the very beginning, the policy of Clive and Warren Hastings of extracting the maximum land revenue increased the impoverishment of peasantry. Whenever peasant failed to pay land revenue, the government put up his land for sale to collect the arrears of land revenue. Moreover, the inability to pay land revenue drove the peasant to borrow money at high rates of interest from the moneylenders. British capitalists oppressed the Indian peasants and treated as slaves. It was vividly portrayed in famous Bengali writer Dinabandhu Mitra in his play Neel Darpan in 1860. The next main impact was commercialization in agriculture. Growing commercialization in agriculture also helped the moneylenders, the merchants, to exploit the cultivators. The fifth main impact was the ruin of old zamindars and the rise of new landlordism. The ruined old zamindari system, especially in Bengal and Madras, permanent settlement in North Madras, and temporary zamindari settlement in Uttar Pradesh equally harsh the local zamindars. Hence, more and more land passed into the hands of moneylenders. One reason why the Indian moneyed class came to buy lands and became landlords because of the absence of effective platform to invest their capital in industries. Unequally harmful consequences of the rise of the growth of landlordism was the political role that they had played during the India's struggle for independence. Along with some princes, The landlords became the chief political supporters of the British colonial rule in India. The next main impact was the stagnation and deterioration of agriculture. As a result of overcrowding of agriculture, the excessive land revenue demand, growth of landlordism, and growing impoverishment of peasantry combined to stagnate and even deteriorate Indian agricultural sector. The next important changes was the development of modern industries. An important development in the second half of the 19th century was the establishment of large scale of industries in India. Machine age in India began when cotton, jute, textile and coal mining industries were started in 1850. The first textile mill was started in Bombay in 1853. First jute mill was started in Rishra, Bengal in 1855. These industries expanded in India slowly but continuously. In 1879, there were about 60 cotton textiles mills in India. In 1882, there were 20 jute mills, most of them in Bengal. In 1905, India had 206 cotton mills, that is 60 increased to 206. In 1901, about 36 jute mills in India, 20 increased to 36 jute mills. The other mechanical industries were started in 20th and 19th century. Sugar, mica, salt, cement, paper, matches industries developed in India. One of the most interesting facts was that most modern industries controlled by foreign capital. Foreign capitalists more attracted to Indian industries because of huge profit and cheap labor charges. Raw materials are readily available in India. Foreign capital overwhelmed Indian capital. Only cotton textile industries Indians had large share from the beginning. Apart from the machine-based industries, 19th century also witnessed the growth of plantation industries in India such as indigo, tea, coffee, etc. They were exclusively under European ownership. Indigo was started as a dye in the textile industry. Indigo manufacture was introduced in the end of the 18th century and flourished in Bengal and Bihar. The invention of synthetic dye gave a blow to indigo plantation industry. Tea industry developed in Assam, Bengal, South India and hills of Himachal Pradesh after 1850s. Tea industry became most popular and spread all over India, also became an important item of export. The plantation and other foreign industries in India hardly any advantage to Indian people. Their profit went out of the country. Large part of their salary bill was paid in foreign account. They purchased most of the equipment from the foreign market. Most of their product sold in Britain and earned money and foreign exchange. The only advantage to Indian people was the creation of unskilled jobs. Most of the workers in these enterprises were, however, extremely low paid and worked under extremely harsh conditions for very long hours. Hence, the condition for nearly slavery prevailed in these sectors. Britain also imposed the policy of free trade in their colony, especially for their industrial machineries. British imports were given more preferences under imperial preferences, even though Indians protested vehemently. Indian industries only concentrated in some regions of the country, especially in some cities and some parts of the country mainly underdeveloped. This regional disparity also affected the level of national integration. It made the task of United Indian Nations more difficult. Important social consequences of limited economic development was that the birth and growth of two social classes in the Indian society, the industrial capitalist class and modern working class. Major characteristics of British rule in India and net result of British economic policy was the prevalence of extreme poverty among its people. In the second half of the 19th century, poverty of its people found its culmination in a series of famine which ravaged all parts of India. The first of these famine occurred in western UP in 1860 to 61, lost 2 lakhs of life. In 1865 to 66, the famine engulfed to Orissa, Bihar, Bengal, and Madras, and the death toll nearly 20 lakhs of people. Orissa alone lost 10 lakhs of people. The famine also affected the areas of Punjab, Rajputana, Haryana, etc., lost one fourth and one third of the Indian population. In 1896 to 97, famine affected over 9.5 crores of the people, whom nearly 45 lakhs died. Many other indications of India's economic backwardness and impoverishment. Colin Clark, a famous authority on national income, had calculated India's national income during the period of 1925 to 34. During that time, India and China had lowest per capita income in the world. At the same point of time, per capita income of an Englishman 5 times than that of an Indian. Similarly, average life expectancy of an Indian was 35 years in spite of some tremendous progress in the field of technology, especially in medical field. Hence, we can conclude that the poverty and stagnation of an Indian people not because of geographic or lack of natural resources. One of the main reasons was the drain of wealth policy of British rule.